Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr., and I was born July 4th of 1986. Today, I have to talk a little bit about something that I've always known this, and I always kind of feel like I dance around some stuff that I see and I read in this Bible, and there's just no reason to be dancing around some things. If it's in there, we should be able to talk about it, and not only that, we should be able to, but we have to talk about, because it may not be, say, something that we all want to hear, and only some people are like happy, like, woohoo, we're happy, but the other people are kind of like, well, that sucks. Well, what about me? Because in reality, when you really read this Bible really does come down to something that is very, very powerful, that I'm going to say, is some people to listen to that really know the Bible. Uh, I think they know it better than even Jehovah's Witnesses, is the Israelite camps, the Hebrew Israelites and all the Israelite guys. They know this Bible up, down, all the way around. They know every single word, every single thing, everything all around and all in it. Like they're smothering this, surrounding their world in this Bible, which is something that is very appreciative, that is really interesting. But there's some stuff that goes on that I'm going to say is some sticky things that go on that I just personally believe, with what I have a good understanding of reading the whole Bible myself and studying it and paying attention to it, that they've got wrong. They got wrong, and they got a lot of hate that they're putting out there that I can't be a part of. There's just one thing about me that I don't know how to say it, other than just my life experience of just saying, I can't forget my mother, give up on her because of her color. I can't give up on anybody or a specific person out here because of their color. I'm not going to treat anybody a certain way because of their color. I'm not going to try to talk down to or feel like I'm superior than anybody because of their color. And for me, it's a very personal thing, because I grew up in a household with two different colors. And it's something that has conflicted me, that I've been asking and studying, that who cares what you think, Mark Anthony, Mr. DuBose Jr., what does the Bible state? And I just couldn't find that 100% concrete information that states that who I am as a result of coming from two different colors of people, that I'm wrong, that I'm not right, that God doesn't care or doesn't want me or doesn't desire me. And at the same time, even if he doesn't want me, doesn't desire me, that I still have an opportunity. Because that's what I want to talk about today, is something that you can't dance around some things that are said in here, and it comes in the book of Matthew, and this is stuff that Jesus is specifically saying himself, that we are all out here. This is a passage that I've heard and I've read it many times. I've thought about this. I've pondered this. I just stayed on this for a really long time, because you can't get around it once you read it. And once you read it, it's just plain clean English, and it's the concept of Jesus and the Canaanite woman, and he just in reality doesn't want to, and he states that he's not going to do anything for this woman because of who she is. So that's the concept of me having a good understanding of realizing that God definitely has he has a chosen people on this planet that he does more for, that he's looking out more for, that he cares more about, that he puts more of his time and effort into. And regardless if somebody wants to say that's fair or not fair, I'm still going to say again today that we didn't create it and we didn't make it. And that's just what it is and the way that it's going to be. But we have no idea today, walking on this land, who the actual, chosen people are. It doesn't come down to a color, a nationality, anything that we know of today, because things have changed so much since the days of when the Israelites are around, that they were intermingling, they were popular. We have no idea. So today, it's no difference between a Mexican person, a Chinese person, a Japanese person, to a white person, to a black person, to an Indian person. We have no idea. We're all mixed and intermingled, that you can't specifically say that this race is who God's chosen people are. This color is who God's chosen people are. It's a mixture of all of us. But that's the thing where, for me, I've always been really, really challenged, because when I hear some people talk about this Bible, I'm just like, wow, you have, like, I don't know how to say it other than you have like no spiritual conscience in you at all. Like, you just have zero. When I see a lot of what atheists have to say about this Bible, and it's unfortunate that a lot of these guys are it's weird, because I only find men talking about that. I don't find women on this whole side of like hardcore atheist. Hardcore. I don't know what it is with me, but I research all sides of it. I want to see that person that is hardcore Jesus. There can't be anything else. And I want to see the other person that says that's the stupidest thing on the planet. There's no such thing. Absolutely no. And I don't know. Maybe I'll find that tonight. But I don't find women that are hardcore, just straight up atheists that just reject it. But when I listen to these guys talk, they talk about the Bible in a way that they have zero connection to it. And that makes sense, because if there's a chosen folks that God has, and there's some people that he came for, and Jesus came for only those folks would have no idea about this. They would have no lineage in it. They're not part of that chosen clan to be able to get God's blessing in reality. They're just like out there as, I hate saying it like this, but it's terms that we use today that make things make sense. Non-playing characters. There's some non-playing characters out here that are moving. Then there's God's chosen people that God is moving to be able to get what it is he needs to get. And we today have no idea, again, who those people are. We can't tell based on how they look. We can only, in reality, base that on how they do and what they function and what they get done and what they speak and how they act. So for me, when I listen to a lot of these atheists that are just dead set, I could hear it in them that they just have no spiritual conscience at all inside of them. Like they are just spiritually dead. They have no desire, no willingness, no anything about even thinking or coming to any sort of conclusion that a God could possibly be real. They are just 100% against it. And that makes sense, because God put it and made it to be such a way as that way. So yes, there are going to be people on this planet that you can't witness, you can't speak to, you can't get anything across to. And again, it doesn't matter the color. We have no idea. But there's some people that you're going to say some stuff to, and they're just right over the head. They're just like, what? What are you talking about? Pray to what? That's stupid. That's silly. And they're going to stay with that no matter how much you keep on trying to communicate to them. They have no idea. They have nothing. They have no care. They have no desire. They have no wants. They have nothing in them. And they've never had an experience. That's something that I'm going to say is probably the most interesting thing about Bible-believing people. Pretty much every single one that I personally have known, every single person that I research and I study, I pay attention to, every single person that just talks about this Bible in such an impactful, powerful way about how great it is, because they have had something spiritual happen to, they have had something happen to them. That they literally were, there's many stories of, I was an alcoholic and I was going to AA classes, I was going, I couldn't get it, I couldn't kick the habit, but then I just prayed on the name of Jesus, and then overnight, I no longer desire it. I no longer need it. I no longer care about it. The smell doesn't even drive me into it anymore. There's so many people out here that I've got sick. I had a problem with this. I had this go on. I had to have a surgery. It didn't go away. I had to have another surgery. It still didn't go away. And then I prayed to Jesus, and it just, for some reason, I went to the doctor, and the next time they said, dude, you don't have it anymore. That's like everybody. It may not be that drastic, but everybody has something like that they have had an encounter where they actually felt it and have the presence of God inside of them, that they are moved, and they can't ignore that. That's for me, that I had something happen to me. I don't care how much I reject it and I said, this is stupid, this is no good, but something has happened to me that I can't just ignore. I can't say that I did it, because I didn't, because I was struggling. I couldn't get past it. I couldn't figure it out. I was doing everything in my absolute human capabilities to be able to do, outside of just to the point of just go ahead and killing myself off to fix this issue that was going on with me. But yet I went to sleep and I prayed upon it, and then I woke up and it was gone. This is just something that happens to pretty much every single person that believes this Bible. That's why it's not so much of even like reading the text to believing it. You believe it before you even started reading it. You believe it before you even had an understanding of, oh, that story is even in that Bible. And then you start to already like know it. You start to just, it's an experience that's already inside of you. And that's what this Bible states, that when the Holy Spirit comes in you, he's going to write everything upon you. You're going to know his word. It's just a matter of us making sure that we look it up to study it and to pay attention to it. And that's what it states again. Making sure that we're constantly studying the word. Making sure that we're constantly putting it everywhere for us to be able to keep it on our hearts, to keep it on our minds, on our forward-thinking minds. Not in the background, but in our upfront, what we're doing day-to-day minds. That these experiences happens to every single person that I know that is hardcore about this Bible. So that means something that I'm kind of just throwing some stuff out there that, of course, I don't know, and no one's all going to know. But there's something that I just have to say, that there's some people that never get that experience. That they've been pleading, begging, praying, wishing, and they never get that supernatural experience, I guess I can say. They never get that situation where God comes into them and helps them out. That they just don't have it. But at the same time, this passage that a lot of these Israelite guys like to use to basically claim that they are the only ones that are able to have God and for them, this same passage I use to push back on them, to say, hold on a second, this here is something that this is how I know that regardless of, even if you're not part of the chosen, that God's chosen people of who they are, again, you have no idea. Other than, for me, I have a good idea of understanding that you feel that presence of him, and he does something for you, inside of you, that transforms you, that you can't put words to, that has happened to you. And that's how you know, that's how in reality we can figure out who's chosen or not. That if that's happened to you and come to you, God is in you and he's fulfilled you, and he's working with you, and he's doing everything he can to make sure that he's not only just going to protect you, but guide you to have a better existence on this life, to be able to guide you through what's going on and be able to push you towards what it is that he's really looking for you to do. But here in the book of Matthew, in the 15th chapter, in the 21st verse, so I'm going to read a little bit of this because it's a dialogue, and it's just plain, clean English. But it says, leaving that place, Jesus withdrew the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman from the vicinity came to him, crying out, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon-possessed and suffering terribly." Jesus did not answer a word. So his disciples came to him and urged him, "Send her away, for she keeps crying out after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel." So Jesus is just straight up ignoring this woman. He knows that she needs help. He knows that she's crying, begging, and trying to get some assistance, not even for her, but for her daughter. And a lot of us are going to cry out even more for our children. For ourselves, it's one thing. We kind of just let some stuff go. But for your kids, you do the most. You do the extra. You're gonna, in reality, some people go to the point of doing some illegal criminal stuff to make sure that your kids are going to be good to go. So this woman is coming to him just pleading, say, hey man, I see you healing all these people. I need you to heal my daughter. I need you to do this. But Jesus straight up looks at her and says, no. He denies her because he says, I came for Israel. I didn't come for you. And that's like a clean thing, very clear for us to be able to have a good understanding that Jesus didn't come for everybody, only for some people. And then it goes on to, the woman came and knelt before him. "Lord, help me," she said. Even though Jesus told her, no, I'm not doing this, she still said, let me try. Because when you need to be looking out for your kids, you're gonna do the most. And then he replied, "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs." And this is pretty, where I'm like very forward speaking, considering this is 2,000 years ago. We still talk like this today. But he is calling this woman a dog. And it's something that a lot of the Hebrew Israelites like to laugh about and joke about and make them feel more superior than other people because of verses like this, that we're the supreme beings and everybody else is just worthless dogs. Where I'm going to say it's a figure of speech, but it's a very, very, very powerful figure of speech, especially coming out of the mouth of Jesus. God calling some of his human beings, he's referencing them to dogs, saying that's what you are over there. You are not a part of what we're doing over here. You are like way down over there. These are my chosen, these are my premium people. My premium people that get houses and get food and get water and get good quality work. And you use a beggar for everything that these people need. And then she says, "Yes, it is, Lord," she said. "Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." And this woman agrees to the fact that, yes, I am beneath. Yes, I am less than. Yes, I am a nobody in reality. But she says, but still, we get the leftovers from what these other people have. So this is a very hard teaching in reality. Something that I just don't see people talk about this. And for some reason, we just got to start bringing out some stories that nobody's wanting to talk about. But and then Jesus said to her, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." And her daughter was healed at that moment. That's something that we got to have a moment of silence there for that. There's something that in there that is very, very powerful in the fact that Jesus specifically stating that he didn't come for everybody, that he came for his chosen people. But at the same time, he still had it in him to grant, to give, to save another person that is not the chosen in the end. So in the end, Jesus is able to save and be here for every single person on this planet. But there's something that I just know, that it's not going to be easy for that person to be able to come to Jesus. It's not going to be easy at all. It's going to be very hard because it's very, the word I can use is foreign. You have no supernatural acceptance, I guess is the best way of saying it, that you reject and reject and reject. And you have that from wherever it is you came from. And like I said, we have no idea who these people are. But just me throwing a Mark Anthony DuBose Jr. opinion out here on some stuff, that I'm going to say that majority of these people on this day that aren't the, say, chosen people have been lost off in generation before, because they wouldn't survive, they wouldn't make it. And especially based on all the way that all the Israelites were moving and all his people were moving, and how he's getting people to be where they are, that there's not the majority it's a very slim few that are on this planet today that are that way. But the ones that are the very slim few are the ones that are being very, very loud, big, huge mouths that are picking and choosing words out of this Bible to try to get the people that are chosen to get away from God, to try to deceive you, to run away, to try to get you closer to their gods. And their gods in reality are themselves. And that's what they've always been doing, and that's how they've always been. And they're just lovers of absolute self, lovers of the land itself, not lover of God. Lovers of these other things that are able to bring them some success. And that's something that is fascinating, because I've been doing a lot more reading on this whole like the witchcraft stuff and all the sorcery stuff and all these things, in the fact that these magi guys and all that they're able to do some amazing miracles, but they're not able to produce life. They're not able to bring life. They're not able to bring back to life. They're not able to do anything with any sort of life in any sort of way. They could do just what I could say is meaningless type stuff out here. Get you some money? Yeah, get you some money. Get you a relationship? Yeah, get you a relationship. But if you're having problems with trying to have a child, they're at a loss. They can't make that happen. If you're at a situation where you're struggling to be able to get past some sort of illness or some sort of issue, some sort of addiction, he can't bring that life back to you to be able to go into a different way. These witches and all this stuff can't do that. They can't make that happen. I mean, there's some people out here that are just, that's their life. That's all that they do, because they have the only way I can say it is a spiritual sense behind them, in them, because God didn't put himself out there for them. He's actually in reality against them. And it's just, I didn't create it and I didn't make it. And all I could do is just read what God has to put out here for us. But there's one thing that I do know, that he does, and he still is, and he's more than willing to heal and to save and to bring closer to him those that are on there, say, outside, that he didn't come to be chosen to him, that he chosen to be able to be the ones of this land, that you still have it to be able to get in. And that's something that I think is very, very fascinating, that we skip up on some verses here of realizing that God does have chosen people. Jesus did come for those chosen people, but he also is here to be able to help the ones that aren't that. And that's probably one of the most amazing things that I'm going to say, is how great God actually truly is at the end of the day. At the end of the day, he realized what he's doing. And at the end of the day, he realized he's still here to help every single person out. Every single person. But there's some people, I'm telling you, that I just know for a 100% fact on what I keep on seeing today and what I keep on hearing and how some people are, that they have zero connection with God at all. Zero. Like nothingness. Where 2,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, people were pretty much closer because they actually did see some stuff that they can actually at least have the stories. But that's not even in them anymore at this point today, that they have such a huge disconnect that they are not able to feel that presence of God at all. And that's a weird thing for me to say, but it's something that the Bible in reality states. And it's something that is hard, but it's not for me to worry about that in reality at the end of the day. It's for me to continue to keep on that mission of finding the chosen people to get them to get closer. Finding the ones that want to figure out how to be able to get into that group, that are on that outside, that don't really have a good understanding, and do what you have to do to get closer to God. And if that means that something that I could say about my own self, that I was pleading, I was begging, I was going hard. And that I may be one of these people that are on that outside that is not one of these chosen people. Because personally for me, that's in reality the way that I feel. With how much I was begging. I was asking for assistance. I was asking for relief. I was year after year, and year after year. And then finally, at about the age of what I was a little past 35 years old, something just finally kicked in. So for well over 30 years, I was just pleading, begging, and saying, I need something. And nothing would happen, nothing would come. And then problem would come, and I need something. Show me something. And nothing would come. It was just constantly just fighting and fighting and fighting. And then one day, it was like that woman that was just pleading and begging, I need help for my daughter. I need help for her. I need help for her. Nothing's working out there. I'm gonna do whatever it takes, man. And if that means that I'm not gonna leave your side and I'm gonna just stand here and just keep on begging and begging and begging, I'm gonna do that. And that's in reality what I started doing, is I just started begging and begging and begging in a way. Not begging in a way, yeah, that's the best way to just straight up say it. Begging and begging, I need help. I'm hurting, I'm struggling, I'm damaged, I'm destroyed. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going backwards every single day of my life. I wasn't going anywhere in the future. I was just living the same thing and going right back to the same old stuff every single day. I'd wake up to do the same thing over and over again. There's 4 years of my life that I exactly did that I did zero progression in life, that I would wake up and do the exact same thing. Wake up, get some drink, get some smoke, watch some TV, go to sleep. That's it. That was it. Just day after day, went absolutely nowhere. And I was just pleading, begging, I need something here. And then something changed. Then something happened. Then something came to me. Then something just overwhelmed me in a way that I can't just ignore it. I can't just let it go. I can't just not say that it didn't happen. I can't have a fake pretend that didn't go down, that I did it myself, that somebody did it to me. No, I had a life-changing situation happen to my life that I can't just ignore. And since that's happened to me, I can't not try to get closer and closer to what it is that's able and capable to be able to do such a thing. Because the Quran doesn't do such a thing. None of these other religions out here can do such a thing. But the Bible is able to do such a thing. And it speaks of stuff that's happened to me in my life. It speaks of things that I do in my life. It speaks of things that I just wake up and I'm like, I want to do this instead now. And I realize, like, oh wow, that goes along with what this Bible states about. That I don't need to read it. I know it. And that's exactly what God states. He says that he's going to put it in our hearts. He's going to put his word in our hearts. He's going to put what he requires of us in our hearts. And that's where a lot of people get thrown off, because they get challenged. You get challenged with, I like these things, I like this. And then you get like, you shouldn't do that. What you used to think was fun, you no longer do anymore. And you no longer can do anymore, because it starts to just affect you to the point that it starts to damage you in a way. It starts to just really get in your feelings, because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing things that are going against what it is that God's looking for us to do. And someone would say, oh, I should be able to just do whatever I want to do. Well, you didn't create this again. You didn't make this. And there's some things that I'm telling you that God is telling us to get away from and not to do for our own assistance, to make us better. That in the short term, it seems like, oh, I want to be able to loosely do this, and I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to say this. And then you get out of it. In the short term, it sucks. It's like, oh, this is hard. But in the long term, you realize, like, wow, like, this has brought me more patience. This has humbled me so much more. This has allowed me to just let that pride go and just realize who I am and what my role is out here, what I'm supposed to be doing and where I should be going and what I represent. And it lets a lot go of just being able to be more confident with yourself, being more just open and willing with yourself, being more of just being ready to explore more and not feeling shy and shut down and nervous and scared, but just pursuing more and more. It's something that is just super powerful about letting some things go that God is looking for us to do. And it's something that just starts with us having to pursue God more. It starts with us having to just put that pressure on him in reality. That if you haven't had any sort of success, you just keep going at it, man. You keep going. You keep going. You don't just give up. You don't just say, oh, he didn't give me what I get. No, just keep going. You keep pushing at it. You keep pushing at it. Even if you don't like the fact that Jesus himself is sitting here speaking to a woman, calling her the equal stances as a dog, that God is in reality looking at some of the human beings on this planet today as they're just no better than a dog. But nowadays, living in the United States of America, people's dogs are more valuable than their children, and they specifically even state it and say it that way. So in reality, your ranks are getting higher up into today's society. But the original situation of what dogs are all about, what they represent, and how they are, and what their roles are for us, they're beneath a human being. Even though today they're above a human being, but in reality that may be a very interesting thing that God is just showing us today. That he's showing us that, I want you to get close to me, and I value you, and I appreciate you, and I want you to come to me. The closer and closer it gets to the point of when he's going to come back. Now, we don't know. We could just speculate. We could just have who knows and what ifs. But even that woman that Jesus said, yeah, you just a dog. And she says, yeah, I know. But man, at least when you drop some stuff, I get to come and pick it up. So I'm that little vacuum cleaner to clean up the area so that you don't have to come through and do anything. At least I get that. I get the extras. And he says, man, that is true. I could deal with this. This woman right here is super faithful. She sees what I'm doing. She sees the maze. She sees it. Even though the others saw it. Even though all the Egyptians and the pharaohs and all, they all saw the glory of God. But they still just was like, nope, I don't care. I'm still going to keep using my magicians. I'm going to keep using my magi's. I'm going to keep using my witches. I'm going to keep using my stuff. Forget that, God. I'm still going to keep doing this. And when they still stayed in that way, that's just what it is. That's just what is God supposed to do at that point? And then if you're just been from somebody that's just been teaching you that, you're going to 100% reject God all day, up, down, all the way around. Because you're not part of that chosen group that God has put out there. That you're not in his like straight eyesight. You're just the outsider. You're that non-playing character out there. It's hard to say it that way, but that is just in reality the way that the Bible states it. You're not the main show here. There's some people on this land that are the main show. And in reality, for me, I'm trying to figure out and see that. And I personally, I see that in some people. I don't see that in myself. I see that in some people, how powerful they are. And how so spiritual that they are, that they move and you I don't know how to, I can't explain it. That I do have it in me where I can see and I just sense when some people are, say, that chosen person. They are that dedicated from birth. God's like, I'm setting you up and I got you to do some stuff for me. Because even today, I'm just thinking like, how do people become pastors and ministers and all that? How do people like build these churches? Some people that just, they have it. They got it going on. And money in the world and everything starts to corrupt some of these guys, unfortunately. But they still have it in them that they have the anointing of God to be able to gain and get these people to come and watch them, to pay attention to them, to believe them, to trust them in reading the Bible, to trust them in doing everything. And there's some people on this planet that are just that are incredible. That they know what to say, when to say it, how to say it. They got it. Not because they know how to manipulate and cheat and they read all the right books. No, that God has put something on some people that they are just incredible human beings. And it's for me to just think like, I'm definitely not and haven't been such a way as that. I've challenged, it's been challenging for me my whole life of just trying to keep people around. That I always run into battles. I always run into issues. Because people are, I don't know what it is. I still don't know what it is. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I haven't been that person that's like everyone just looked at like, oh, let's just follow that guy. Let's pay attention to the guy. Let's listen to that guy. That guy has got it. I would hope that at some point that maybe I could be a one of those outsiders that got in that could change the scenario for other people's minds. But that's not, I'm not wishing and praying and dreaming on that. I'm just trying to make sure that everyone knows that even if you are not that one that can hear God in you up front, that you pray and you think that it goes nowhere. You pray and nothing happens from it. That God still is willing to help and be able to work with you. He's still willing to be there for you. He still has something to be able to give to you so that you can be able to get through some issues and get through the good times. He's still there for you. And that's something that is at the end of the day very, very incredible. Because it's a very, very eye-opening, amazing Bible to be able to read, to be able to understand. And the more and more that I read it, the more and more I understand it, the more and more I get it, the more and more I see all these little things in there, the more I just want to get further and further into it even more. And realizing how powerful God actually truly is. How powerful he is. He's just extremely powerful. And it's something that is just absolutely amazing. And with that, I just want to say thank you for a very interesting day that I don't know why, but I just am starting to get more inspiration to talk about some things in this Bible that I just don't hear anybody talking about. And maybe they just don't talk about it anymore today, but people just don't want to talk about it. They just want to kind of skip some things and move on to some other stuff. And I get it. It makes you look better. It makes people want to hear it, but that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be, in reality, saying some stuff just to manipulate people, to get people to listen to you and make you think that you got all the answers when you're not giving them the full truth, the full scope here. You're only giving some. And I hear a lot of people sit there and say that. Jesus is for everybody. But Jesus himself, out of his own words, stated, no, I'm not. So we can't spread that lie out there for people to hear that, because that's not true. Jesus came for a specific group of people. for a specific a type of person, for a person that came from a specific lineage, from a person from a specific seed. Not everybody, but he will and is willing to work for everybody. And that's something that everybody should have a very good understanding of, because this is where I know that some people are quitting the church and quitting Jesus, giving up on him, because you don't hear that. You hear, yeah, he's for everyone, he's for this, and then you got that hardcore atheist that comes in and gives you these Bible verses, and you're looking at it like, dang, that is true. Why aren't they talking about this? And then you look at them like they're liars. In reality, I hate to say it like straight up, but you are if you're not saying the whole message here. If you're taking some of it out to try to make it look better than it is, that's lying. And that's one thing that we should not be doing. Being a believer in Jesus is especially purposely just straight up lying to somebody. Granted, if you didn't understand, you didn't know it, you didn't read that, you didn't have that there, okay, that's one thing. But if you knew it was there and you dance around it all the time to try to say that that's not there and that's not how it is, that's just straight up lying. And that's going to force people to want to leave, to the point that they're going to want to go to the atheist, that they're going to want to go that far. They're not going to even think like, oh, maybe there is just no God, because of how we're being taught. And we don't want to put people in that position. We want to give people the whole scope to everything that's going on with God, the whole thing going on with them, the whole situation. There's a lot in here that needs to be talked about, needs to be shared, needs to be spread, to have a very good understanding of what God is total, not just a part of him, the total of him. Thank you.